All right, in 3, 2, 1.
Run! Go! Get to the podcast!
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a podcast?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and podcast. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hey everyone, welcome to Get to the Podcast. Let's get to the podcast with the number 2. My name is Diego D'Souza.
I'm Nick Gambino.
And I'm Neil Carson.
I remember you asking me if I was back. Oh yeah,
Well, yeah,
I'm
guess
back.
I'm back.
I'm back.
Is that from something?
John Wick.
Fucking John!
all
I'm trying to do.
right, okay.
You know, I'm trying
They
to
killed my dog. Yeah.
Trying to do
It's
They
the kill.
killed my
They
dog.
killed my dog guy.
Kill
Yeah.
my wife.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
The guy,
Yeah.
the dog I knew for
I'm
24 fucking hours. This guy's unhinged. Let's be honest
Wick.
here.
did he only know the dog for 24?
Yeah.
No,
he had the dog for like a day or two.
No, he
I mean, it was from
didn't.
his dead wife, so I get it. It was actually kind of beautiful. I hope if my wife dies first, she does something cool like that. Like,
Yeah, great thought.
I feel like
Let's
she
start
doesn't.
the
I'm gonna
podcast.
harbor
It
a
wasn't
little
24
bit of
hours, though.
bitterness.
It was more than that.
Did you hear what he just said?
It was a
Hey, you know,
It was a couple days.
my wife dies. I hope she leaves me a dog.
If she does,
not
I'm
my
I'm
daughter.
gonna be a little angry.
Just my
like-
dog.
I mean, you have to know that it's coming to plan this.
Well, no, I'm saying if it doesn't happen, I'll be upset.
No, I mean, your wife would have to know that she's
Yeah.
going to die to plan.
No, she should have
yeah.
a contingency plan,
Right,
like
right,
in
right.
place,
That's
right?
a contingency
With
plan.
a puppy
it's-
involved.
Like right now, it's like
You just go tell
having
somebody,
a,
if I ever die, give Nick a dog.
it's like having a life insurance policy,
Yeah.
a will, a last will and testament. You just,
Western
just-
Union does it.
sure, a
What
letter.
the fuck is wrong with this?
Are you?
This
Marty
has nothing to do.
McFly!
This has nothing to do with the podcast.
I mean, slightly.
A little bit.
We're talking. Okay, so what are we
We're talking
what are-
dogs.
We haven't done a versus episode in a while.
We have not. This is a good verse.
It's been a while.
This is a
So
good
so we're
verse.
doing, and you both
Stop!
argued with me on this. Okay?
Stop with your predicament
pause,
saying that
pause.
you're going to. You're
Pause.
definitely this person.
Pause. I was like, oh, I have a great idea for a verse. You were like, I want to do a John Wick versus episode. That was your idea. Let's
Yeah.
do a John Wick versus. And then I was like, Neo, just kidding. Like Neo would obviously fucking kill him. He's the Matrix manipulator, man. But then I was like, oh, actually, this is a perfect one. John Wick versus Jason Bourne. I thought I was going to get like applause and a standing ovation from you guys. Like, that's a brilliant idea, Nick. And instead you're like, nah, it's not really comparable. Blah, 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 blah. He's a super soldier. He's got serum injected into his balls. I'm like, what are you, on drugs?
I swear
was
to
like,
God, you can't say a letter to Nick. He creates this fucking story out of it.
What I'm trying to say
Yes.
is,
I do
First
remember
off-
the balls part, though.
Yeah, so-
that's
You did?
100%
Yeah, 'cause you were on the
true.
phone, right? Because you're on the phone.
don't verify it.
Definitely
But it's
that
true.
balls injection was
Yeah,
there.
I remember
So,
that call.
It's not even a thing, by the way.
Let's just post a text
You-
on social media.
You were
and
mixing,
see.
but you were mixing it up with Bourne Legacy, where Jeremy Renner's character is
Correct.
part of a program where he is taking these drugs or these super enhancer things that kind of make him a bit of a super soldier.
They weren't drugs. They were genetic modifiers.
All right, dude.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
It wasn't
but
a drug, though.
So,
I think it's technically a
drug.
drug. They
No,
made
it
it
modified his genetic code.
Didn't they make it in a pharmaceutical plant? Like he goes to that fucking that place.
Doesn't any
The factory or-
any chemical that causes an alteration to normality?
I think it's
is
considered
technically
a
a drug.
I think it's a drug. Anyways,
Did they call them drugs?
I don't know.
What do you want to call it?
I don't know, but I feel like
Yeah,
this is
it's like a
semantics.
serum, that
I
works.
feel like you're distracting. You're U.S. governmenting this right now.
Guys,
and trying to
guys,
distract
guys,
from the
guys,
real issue
guys.
at hand. Which
What
is,
about that dog and John Wick?
He can't
though?
really go to the government thing because there's nobody
Yeah,
there.
but the point is, so you had mixed that up, thinking
They're
that
not,
Jason
they're not
Bourne.
back to work yet?
No, it's kind
Nah,
of sad.
man.
Yeah,
All right,
Maybe by the time this drops.
heavy.
I hope.
But speaking of drops, balls, serum. Let's get back to it, right?
Yeah.
So,
What?
balls drop it. He
yeah,
gets
you were
it.
saying that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
I
saying. So
yeah,
say
yeah,
it.
he never took drugs like that enhance him in any way in the Bourne movies. It was only Jeremy Renner's character in Bourne Legacy.
Yes.
It had nothing to do with it. In the Bourne movies, Jason Bourne is basically trained to be an assassin and a killer, and they get rid of his moral compass on killing or get rid of his distaste for killing in a kind of a almost like a brainwashing thing
Yeah.
more
Well,
than anything.
it's.
You see
I mean,
what they do to
that's
him.
an interesting point because
Like
one of my
waterboard him.
favorite films was Bourne Ultimatum, where
Oh
at the
my
end of the
God.
film, Jason Bourne has the realization that he
has a choice.
He had a choice in the matter, and that it wasn't they made me do it thing. Because the whole first 2 movies and most of the third, he's like, "You made me into a monster. You made me a killer. It's your fault. I'm not responsible for anything." And then at the end of the movie, he remembers that he made the choice to like become a killer.
Yeah, it was like literally an instant. Like it went from like kill that guy in the corner. Who is he? It doesn't matter. Like they didn't even tell him who he was. There was like a bag over the guy's head. He's like, just kill him.
Yeah, they were like, we didn't trick you, Jason.
Yeah, he's like, you could have walked away at any point.
Yeah,
and you voluntarily signed up for this program, and then you voluntarily went through every step. Yes,
he had like blocked from his memory.
Exactly.
He chose to become a monster.
Right. So he's an assassin. Now he was a trained assassin for the government, and John Wick is an assassin, an assassin for hire.
He's just a normal.
He's a freelance. He's freelance.
He's freelance. He's definitely freelance.
He's working for a government. He's a good guy.
He's a retired
especially
assassin.
Our government.
Yeah,
our government doesn't have any bad assassins.
No, not at all. No. We're not going to make it to the next episode.
We're not.
Anyways,
go ahead, Nick.
So we're gonna do a John Wick versus Jason Bourne because they're both these kind of badasses. Take out 30 guys in a room. Okay, you need to calm down.
I don't think Jason Bourne has ever taken out 30 guys like John Wick.
He's always literally gone one-on-one majority of the time.
But is it?
I think the most that he's taken out is 3 guys.
That's what I thought. It was like the most is like 3 guys.
The difference between Jason Bourne and John Wick is this: Jason Bourne is stealthy. Whereas John Wick is like coming guns blazing. No, that's
all right.
It's
that's
literally
bullshit.
in the new trailer. He's like, you never just go in. It's never just having a conversation.
From the first episode, he was so sneaky around his house, killing all the people. First
movie chapter. Yeah,
first chapter.
When
he killed all those guys at his house, that was very stealthy. He was hiding throughout the house.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but the guy is known for guns blazing. Almost like there's an emotional edge
he's
to him.
known to be dangerous.
It's literally in the new trailer where they're like, it's never. What is it? Halle Berry's character says something like, "It's never just a conversation with you," and it shows him getting the big ass fucking guns. And he does it when he went to the bathhouse. When he went to the bathhouse, the steam house, whatever, with all the Russians in the first one, he was all over the place using the gun as a knife practically, whereas Jason Bourne's the kind of guy that gets everybody out of the fucking building, goes in and fucking breaks into the safe while the guys are.
I feel like
watching them from a distance from a rooftop.
I feel like they both feel calculating, like in the way they attack a problem.
Yeah, he's stealthy.
Like John Wick always felt more fantastical to me than Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne always felt more grounded. It didn't feel like it when I watched Jason Bourne, like that this wasn't unrealistic.
Yes.
Like it felt like a real guy doing real shit in real scenarios. And in John Wick, I guess it's not unreal, but
it's limiting.
Yeah, you walk into a room of like
supernatural,
where like 50, like in the second film, he like goes into that building or whatever towards the end, and then it's like people are just coming at him one after the other, and it's like headshot. And I'm like, dude, you straight up murdered like 300 people in like 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
With perfect headshots on almost all of them.
That's that's what I'm saying. See, the whole thing,
but I've never seen anything like that either. So it's still it's crazy. But
and when he went into that the bathhouse, he was trying to be stealthy, but he got caught. The guy came behind the wall and caught him, and then he got pushed out, and he had to go guns blazing.
And
That's what happened.
And I get it. I get what you're saying. What I'm trying to say is that Jason Bourne is a little bit more. I've thought this out to a point where it's like literally second nature to me. There is a difference. There is a difference when you no.
Like, this is
one
is
accurate. More about one is like I want to have this guy like fucking like plow through. You know what I mean? In violence, and the other one's a little bit. It's a smarter. Like the Bourne films are a little smarter.
As much of a killer.
I love the John Wick movies.
The difference
I'm not
between
shitting. They're different.
Yeah, I know you do. No, the difference between John Wick, I feel, John Wick and Jason Bourne is the fact that Jason Bourne is more controlled. He has more control of what he has to. He's very precise. Where John Wick, he lets his emotions get to him.
Yeah.
And he goes all out.
Right.
So that I feel that's the only. They both have. I do agree with Jason Bourne is more. A lot of his missions and a lot of what he did in the films were more stealthy.
Right.
And
that's
I
the
do
thing.
feel,
He was supposed to.
But he never really had
difference,
a scene in his films where he had to come out and go guns blazing.
That's not accurate at all. I mean,
I'm not saying there wasn't one.
Not like John Wick.
I'm just saying.
Not like
I'm
John
just
Wick.
saying Jason Bourne didn't
He doesn't
really
use
have
a gun the way John Wick uses a gun.
No,
it's like you said,
definitely because
he
he's
got
not trying to
people
just
out
kill
of the
everybody.
building.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's the main difference. Is like Jason Bourne the number of bad guys coming at him is like a fraction of the number of bad guys coming at
Correct.
It's
Yeah.
a more.
So if we just like,
It's campier in that way because it is, like you said, more unrealistic. Like
but the other thing
it's
that's super impressive is
cool
that,
to watch, but
yeah, Keanu Reeves and Matt Damon are both doing like all their stunt work, like that. And they both did training for all those
martial arts.
Yeah, the martial arts training and the
combat.
choreography and everything. Like, did you guys ever see a video of Keanu Reeves on YouTube?
Oh, hell
where
yeah.
He's just going through
Yes.
like the maze or whatever with a shotgun, and he's like, "Have you seen
Oh,
this?"
it's
Yes.
like him training for
Yeah,
it.
it's like
yeah,
I
the
guess
training,
it's
that's
from
right.
from training from John Wick or
It is
something.
John Wick.
I don't know
Yeah,
if it
it's
was
training
for
from John Wick.
funsies or whatever, but dude's like got the shotgun like pow 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 pow, and then like reloads it or like grabs another gun, and he's just like fucking doing all this like in seconds, like he's just flying through this like.
That's crazy.
I don't know what they call them. What are those things called? Like
No, they're
the,
just
training.
It's
yeah,
cushions.
I know what you're talking
It's
about.
like
out
a bunch of
in the
cushions.
desert in
Yeah.
California somewhere or whatever. Like
Shoot
the
it-
bad
ki-
guys pop up and then
yeah.
the hostages pop up and you're not supposed to shoot the hostages.
Right,
It's like what
exactly.
police do.
Yeah,
you
Men in
know,
Black.
it's like
Yeah.
It's like except there's aliens in Men in Black right now.
So all right, so you're Nick. You're very, very Jason Bourne.
I'm Jason Bourne.
Yes. No, you're not.
No,
Jason Bourne.
yes, I am Jason Bourne. Okay, and you're the dog.
So
in John Wick.
so
Very vulnerable.
Oh, who was the bad guy in John Wick? That was the dude from shit. He was in
kid
Wait, let's-
from,
let's
Girl
try-
with the Dragon
it's-
Tattoo,
it's-
the
it's
television
Theron,
series.
isn't the son from the first one? Isn't that
Well,
Theron?
that's
from,
the son. Yeah,
Yeah, he's in
the
Game
piece
of Thrones.
shit that
Yeah,
kills the
but you
dog.
mean the dad?
The dad or the guy
Theon.
who plays his
Yeah.
dad or
And he passed
whatever.
away.
he plays
He-
Theon in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he
What
was
did I call
in-
him? Theron?
Theon.
Did I call him
I
Theron?
always bring
I don't
this
know.
guy up because he played Mikael and the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo
Yep.
trilogy,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
televised trilogy that they filmed. in-
He's great.
whatever,
He actually passed away.
I know.
In
It's-
between the first and
sucks.
second film, I think, or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
he's-
not in
he-
between, but like after the first film.
His
came
whole
out.
career started blowing up after that Girl
Yeah.
with the Dragon Tattoo
Yeah.
thing. But
All right, let's go back to the verses.
I'm pro Jason Bourne.
Okay, hold on a
I'm
second.
saying if they went
Are you
head to
saying
head,
that-
Jason Bourne over John Wick.
Why are you saying that?
'Cause-
I need proof. I don't need
You need
all right.
proof.
I
you
need
prove it to me.
Nick to
Fuck
just-
you. Like, what do you mean?
Where this isn't.
I'm trying to get you to state your this.
I'm stating my case. I've
saying
actually
it's-
stated most
you
of my
know-
case.
I'm not sure that Jason
Here's
Bourne
the
would
thing.
win.
We just had our
against John Wick.
100th
Okay, I know
episode.
you're John Wick. I get it.
All right,
I
all
get it.
right.
You're a
I'm on both sides.
fucking
They're
troll
both,
over
They're
here.
both good. They're both good.
trolls sit on fences.
No,
okay?
no. What?
Yeah, or under.
This is the guy who tried to pushes everybody else to look evil so he can win the argument.
Are you kidding me? Everybody that listens to these things does not think that other people are evil and I'm the good guy. I always come off as the bad guy because I'm arrogant. I'm
All right,
obnoxious.
So why do you think Jason Bourne is basically would take out John Wick?
Yeah. Okay. Good. So first off, he's a precision weapon trained by the government. Okay. What's John Wick's credentials like beyond just basically experience as an assassin?
I
Now
think
he's
they
amazing.
said he was like
A lot-
ex-military, right?
Was he?
Ex-military.
Was he?
Yeah.
I
Okay,
think
good.
so in the
I'll
first
verify that.
movie.
Okay, good. So was Jason Bourne, right? That was the whole point. Is he was military, and
Yeah.
then he got drafted or recruited for this program, right? But he'd
Yeah.
already like racked up a whole, experience or resume or whatever in the military, doing different black ops stuff, and then he got recruited for this special program.
Yeah.
Okay, so they both kind of, I guess, come in on
Treadstone.
Treadstone, and then Blackbriar, and
And
then
Blackbriar,
Blackbriar
yeah.
became like the new Treadstone. So that's the thing about Jason Bourne. When you watch those films, you feel like there's a precision to this, whereas John Wick feels like they're throwing a bunch of guys at him in more of a staged setting. And there's something to that. When I look at that, I go, well, one, you need to script that, and another, that's happening. That's how I feel. Like I watch Jason Bourne, I'd be like, this guy in real life could take out in a scenario, because you put John Wick in there, it's like, how's he not getting his head blown off in these scenarios?
He gets fucked up, though.
He's like Rambo, man. No, he gets fucked up, sure, but he's like Rambo, and it feels like this could only happen in a movie. Jason's Bourne stuff is sort of like, when I say he's precise or stealthy, it's because he has to be, because that's what's realistic. How does he get away? How does he escape a sniper? You know, how does he break into a building? How does he take out cops when they're surrounding the building? How does he do these things?
So just confirm.
Always
yes,
does it in
John
a
Wick
realistic.
is ex-Marine.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I remember there was like a photo of him too.
It was because his back he has a tattoo.
That's right. All right, cool. So
I don't know. I mean, they're
John Wick is a cartoon version Okay, I really am entertained by John Wick. I love those movies, but if you're talking about face to face, one, it has to be scripted and choreographed that way. The other one, it's like this is probably like really what could happen in the real world. Like you watch those Bourne movies, that's what makes those and sets those apart from other kind of movies like it.
I think
it's
that was
not
the
James
point,
Bond.
though.
It wasn't Ethan Hunt. It's like literally like this is real.
I think that was the point of like Jason Bourne, and that's why people liked. I mean, that's why I liked it when I saw Bourne Identity for the first time. I remember thinking like the choreograph work was very realistic feeling.
Yes,
and just the whole story, because in the beginning of the film, it's like he's on the boat. There's like weird flashes. He goes to like kill the guy, and then the daughter and the wife or whatever are there, and then he gets shot and falls off the boat, and then he gets found, and he like can't remember who he is, and then these things happen, these series of events, and you're like, who is this guy? Like,
everything's triggered. It's like a total recall.
Yeah, and then he goes into like that weird checkpoint or something where he's like going from one through a security checkpoint or something at a train station, and then some guys grab him, and then he's just like goes crazy, and you're like, wait, what the fuck?
But that was kind of
that's
an example of like
moment.
a group of guys like where he's able to take out. The first one was him on the park bench, and those two cops start messing with him. He's in like France or he's somewhere, and they start messing with him in the snow, and then the guy pokes him with his nightstick, and he just grabs it, and it's like a freeze moment. You're like, oh shit, and he doesn't even realize what he's doing.
Yeah,
it's
like
reflex
instinct.
alone.
Yeah,
there's that scene also when he's in the diner and he's explaining to her. He goes, I have no idea who I am. He's like, but I do know that I could run. Was it like 7 miles non-stop? No, I could run 30 miles non-stop without even having to catch my breath. I know that there's 8 people in here. There's a guy over there. He's carrying a gun. Da, 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 da. He literally starts like going. His mind is just racing and just it's so muscle memory. Everything that he can do. But it's realistic, and that's what I like. Whereas again, going back to John Wick, it's fantastical.
The thing that I thought was interesting. Because Clive Owen played an assassin in the first one to come get him, and the way they kind of portrayed it is not like
there's an assassin like that in all of the movies. Like there's
but like in all of the films, like when there's somebody coming for Jason Bourne who's also one of the other trained assassins or whatever, like I don't whether they've they don't say that they've been like genetically altered or engineered or whatever, but they've definitely been like mentally conditioned to operate far above the average human being for a specific task, which is these assassinations.
They've been physically and mentally trained for it.
Yeah. So it's like, and like everything else is like in the background.
Right.
Like,
Right.
Their emotions, their feelings, or whatever, like that's all in the background. There's just like point A to B. They're just like A to B with whatever their orders are given.
Right.
And, like that portrayal was kind of weird. Like even, when Clive Owen's character comes at him, he's just like everything's so calculating. They're like robots.
Yes.
But like,
there's always these human moments where you get to learn a little bit more about those characters.
But only with Jason. Yeah, that's true. I guess there is like with Clive Owen and later in the second film.
In the third one too, where the guy he sees him on the roof and he lets him go. Remember, like he lets Jason Bourne go right before the other guy comes out and shoots Jason Bourne as he's jumping off, and then he lands in the water and you think he's dead. Yeah. Like that whole scene, he's like, "Do you even question what you're doing? Like, do you even know what they're asking of you and who I like any stuff like?" And the guy starts thinking, he goes, "No, well, this is what we're doing. It's for our country. It's national security or whatever he says." But like the whole point is, you could see that they're trying to make a point, like they have lost their humanity in what they've become.
Yeah.
Right. And anyways, I like how they do that. Again, more realistic. The John Wick movies are fantastical. And in the first and second movie, he's
Wick,
really playing the offense, whereas
I'm
Jason
just
Bourne,
really listening to this.
Because
he's so like John Wick has no chance against Jason Bourne.
But see, but just comparing like their backgrounds are so different, but also like very interesting at the same time. Like even John Wick, like when they show the flashback sequence with his wife who passes away, and then she knows she's gonna die, and then she has this dog. It's like puppy delivered to him, and he like attaches himself to the puppy or whatever. And this guy is like a fucking killer.
Yeah,
he's known
now
as
has a puppy,
the boogeyman. He's known as the boogeyman.
Yeah, he's retired. He's a retired killer. She got him out of it, right? She got him out of the game or something, or she's the reason he left.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's one of the reasons why I think this is very close. It's a very close versus, because I'm not saying that it's an ultimate win for either of them. But I think one of the things that kind of brings Jason Bourne down is the fact that his his morals, and John Wick doesn't have.
He
gets
does. He's
into
just
a
taking
state-
out bad guys.
He has a state where he has no moral. He doesn't give a shit. And
John
that's
Wick?
John Wick. That's why
but
he's known
John Wick
as the
didn't kill
boogeyman.
any not like
That's
people
the
that
thing.
weren't
But
trying
he's
to kill
known.
him.
Just killing
He's
bad
known
guys.
as
Yeah.
a boogeyman. He's been in that dark side of being an assassin, where Jason Bourne really hasn't. He
killed the guy like
been
right in front of his wife
military.
and kid, basically. Remember? No, that the whole thing before he lost his memory, there was a point where he was just killing and wasn't questioning until that scene where he's on the boat, which is right before he loses his memory. He's on the boat. He's gonna kill the guy, and then
But he
he
doesn't
sees
kill
he's
him.
surrounded by kids.
Yeah.
He's surrounded by his kids, and that's where he stops. But then there's like that whole subplot or that thing where he killed that guy in that. He was like an ambassador or something in his hotel room, and he also ended up killing the wife or something like that. Maybe there was a daughter involved. Like, Jason Bourne has gone through that shit. Just because it's the government, let's not fool ourselves and not think that there isn't. It's
Yeah.
all black ops shit and like pretty dark, sinister things going on. And the even the characters that are running that ran Treadstone, like Brian Cox's character, who ends up killing that kid who works for him, like they're evil men. So it's not like, yes, John Wick is from the quote-unquote criminal world, but Jason Bourne is from like the criminal dark side of the government. So they're both in criminal kind of waters.
Yeah, and I mean, they're both very interesting stories and interesting takes on like those kind of characters, like the assassin character. I think
They're
that
different flips of the coin. I mean, different sides of the coin.
in a way, I would say that the Bourne films are more interesting to me because as somebody that did not read the books and was not familiar with the character when those films came out, like seeing this guy who lost his memory and that whole Total Recall thing.
Yes.
Where you have the guy's a bad guy, loses his memory, and then becomes naturally good.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like this idea that like, man, like people are good until they're turned bad.
Right.
And it's like I thought that was an interesting
And if you can
take on
suppress
this.
that section of it and let the good shine through or bust through, it can happen.
And that's kind of what happens in this. But in what I compare the John Wick films to is like Unforgiven a little bit, because in Unforgiven,
he does come back.
Clint
After
Eastwood,
his wife dies and promises.
Yeah, his wife took him away from this life of killing and
fucking
and
unoriginal
shooting
John
and
Wick
being
piece
whatever.
of shit.
All right.
Fucking just ripping off an
But you've seen
Oscar-winning
Unforgiven,
movie.
right?
I definitely
John
seen-
Wick is
Yeah.
basically Unforgiven, is what we're
It's
saying.
basically
Fuck that
Unforgiven, isn't it? Right? Because of the
And it-
wife, and then he
At least
like
that
his wife
basic
dies,
premise.
and then he's like trying to make money to help his kids because the wife.
Yeah, and
like,
there's the
take care of
prostitutes who
kids.
got their face slapped. It's like a whole thing.
And so he. But then at the
becomes a
end of
gun
that
for hire.
movie, he but it's not until like the end of that movie.
I don't know. It's
and that-
very
and
difficult.
He goes John Wick.
Where
he goes
his
John
dog,
Wick at the
because
end.
his dog gets killed.
Well,
but it's
Morgan
Morgan
Freeman.
It's his best friend. I'm just saying, it's like
best
it's like
friend,
that
yeah.
representation.
It's like I feel that
Basically Unforgiven.
It's Unforgiven.
If they were-
fuck John Wick.
if they went hand-to-hand combat,
a
if
good
they
movie to
went
copy.
hand-to-hand combats, I think Jason Bourne will get the upper hand on that one.
Okay.
Hand to hand.
But I think weapons-wise,
Oh, so we're going gun for
I
gun
think
now.
I think John Wick will have the upper hand.
Well, John Wick is interesting. He that's what I liked about John Wick, is that he uses the gun like as a fist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So he has
He
the
does.
short. It's called a short form.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like that whole aspect of the film I thought was fantastic. And I don't know. I mean, if you put the two of them together, like
I'm just saying,
if
it's
John
like,
Wick has a gun and Jason Bourne's coming at him with like a knife or a stick or something.
No, I'm saying equal.
that's ridiculous. If John Wick came at me with a stick and I had a gun,
I feel
you know what
like,
I mean? It's like,
but Bourne feels like he's more like MacGyver. Like he can take something in the environment and use it to his advantage. And John
Smarter.
Wick is like, no, there's like, I have like 40 guns on my body right
yeah,
now.
he's Rambo.
Well,
but
he knows how to use a car to kill
He's
people.
Rambo.
I mean, he used the car like literally as a fucking bat to hit that guy off.
But they're also like hand to hand. I mean, there's some incredible choreographed hand to hand scenes.
There
in,
is.
like John Wick 2.
But just by
in
the,
first one.
I think it was the second Bourne where he was in the bathroom.
That's the third one. Bourne Ultimatum. That fucking
That
scene.
fight was just when he jumped in that window. and
He
the
jumps
guy-
through right
yeah.
when because he's about to kill Julia Stiles, that
Yeah.
other asset, and
Exactly.
and Bourne is trying to catch up or get in, and he runs and he jumps through that fucking window and crashes through the other one and instantly engages in a hand-to-hand
Yeah.
combat. There's no music in that scene.
Yeah.
I think they barely put even any like sound effects on it. It's very raw. It's all handheld. Oh my god!
They're fighting
with
the fucking
book,
stall.
shoving the book into his throat, strangling him, choking him out.
And she's just there the whole
And
time,
she
like
starts
watching
crying at
this
the end
whole
as he like
thing.
chokes him out. Oh, it's such an intense scene. The guy's eyes are bulging. There's no scenes like that in the John Wick movies that I feel like
There's less
capture
emotion.
No, there's a
that.
lot of
I feel like
no.
there's less emotion, or the emotion
It's-
feels more blunted by the violence.
It's just like
you know what I
Rambo
mean?
2 and
Yeah.
3 as opposed to First Blood. Like that's the difference.
Yeah,
like,
First Blood
Like
felt-
Jason, like the Bourne movies are First Blood. John Wick are the sequels in the Rambo
No.
fucking trilogy. No, they're
No,
more
but like the
outlandish in a
the
way.
violence is like the violence takes precedent. over
John
the,
Wick is
like,
more of a
the story.
spectacle. Yes, John
Yeah.
Wick is more.
But
of a
he's
spe-
on the defense, and that's what Jason Bourne is.
is more of a story being told.
Yeah.
But I get that. That doesn't mean anything.
Up
that
up
has
until the
nothing to do
new
with
John Wick,
verses.
the new John
No,
Wick
but
movie.
I mean,
is
comparing the movies, really. I mean, we're not just
I thought
comparing
we
the
compared-
characters.
We're kind of comparing the whole thing. But the new John Wick movie is the first time he's really on the defense, right? All the other ones he's been on the offense. Jason Bourne was always on the defense until he started playing the offense, right? So it kind of flips a little bit. But he's always like, somebody's trying to fucking kill me. He doesn't even know why. He doesn't. He
Now,
said,
have you noticed in the trailer for the third one, they haven't really shown anything? Like they just show a bunch of scenes of them like walking and talking, but there's not a huge amount of like action sequences like
Well,
in
they showed
the
stuff.
in the second trailer for the second
That
film, like
sword-
there's a scene where he like walks into a room and everyone stops
Yeah.
and like looks at him and he's just like holy shit, like
shit.
I got to kill like 30 dudes
Yeah.
by myself and they're all coming at me.
Right.
Like that was more intense, I thought, but I feel like they're holding back for the third film.
Well, there's that
I
motorcycle
feel like
scene
there's
with
gonna
the
be a lot
swords.
of that shit, but they're holding back.
that motorcycle scene with the swords in the new John Wick
I
trailer.
mean,
that
you
was
know,
kind of cool.
any car thing, I feel like that's
horse.
whatever. That's a wash. Like
Uh,
you're in a vehicle fighting.
The horse.
It's a wash.
I hate
the horse was cool. The horse was cool.
the horse. True Lies.
Huh.
This movie's basically True Lies and Unforgiven. What the fuck is going on with this John Wick copying shit?
I mean, they're good. They're
I'm
getting
just
What
better.
movie hasn't copied something?
No movies have ever copied anything except for John Wick. Fuck that guy. Okay, I'm just kidding. But
It's
Jason,
only because you chose. It's because
know.
you liked it. You're like it's better.
if I
than
was
it.
on John
No,
Wick's
he
side,
was-
I'd be
he
shitting
just-
on Jason Bourne.
Like
so.
as soon as I said it, this guy was like, "Oh, you're John Wick. You're all John Wick."
Because
oh,
you are.
jump.
I remember when the first
No.
John Wick was coming out, you were literally already riding his D.
No.
You were like, "Have you seen?"
I
and you
can
were
prove
telling me
why.
all-
I can prove why.
I'm sure you can't, but go ahead.
I'm sure I can because when I had a conversation with you on the text, I told you that
Jason Bourne would win.
Bourne was injected. So I think Jason Bourne would
yes,
win.
but you were wrong.
So
you
exactly,
did say that, but you
my
were also
point.
wrong.
So I was
You thought
on
he was
Jason
Captain America.
Bourne's side until we find out he was equal, and then I was like, "Wow, this is a good battle."
Right.
And I've always been teetering in the middle. I think, like I said, when it comes to hand-to-hand combats, I think Jason Bourne will win. But I think when it comes to gunplay, John Wick will take out Jason Bourne.
Okay.
He's a fucking
think,
short-
I think
he's
maybe
a
I agree with
fucking
that.
I guess that would only be because it's shown him with so
No.
much artillery. Like that's really the thing.
Well,
Whereas,
Jason Bourne had 4 movies to do that with, so.
but would Jason Bourne ever put himself in a position to get taken out by a John Wick gun? Like that's the thing. Is he like? It goes back to my stealthy thing. Like is
He's
he?
an assassin. That's
he's
a
four-
very-
in 4
they're both
movies.
assassins, so
Jason
that's-
Bourne's not in Bourne Legacy.
No, he's not. He's
That's
referred
weird
to.
that they called it Bourne Legacy.
It's
But
a
he
book.
never
Bourne,
shows that.
there's a Bourne
They
Legacy
should've called
book,
Bourne
but
other.
because it's parallel to it, and that's the whole thing. It's the legacy of Bourne, and it goes parallel to Ultimatum. It happens at the same time. Like in that
Is it?
movie, there's references to him being.
I need to rewatch
him.
it.
Oh,
being-
yeah, that's right.
I
Yeah,
do remember his name.
The
like,
news-
yeah,
it's
like
on the news.
scratched into
Yeah.
the thing.
and there was the news story that was playing out. It's literally it goes parallel to Bourne Ultimatum.
okay.
Yeah, so there's references to it, and there's like
I liked it
showing
a lot. I don't
They
know
did
why
that
people
so they
didn't
could
David
open
like
up
it.
Strathairn
into a
character getting
series.
arrested.
They should make a series. That would be okay
That'd be
with Jeremy
interesting.
Renner.
Yeah. Anyways, the whole point
And then
is
have Matt Damon show up for like 2 seconds and just
Yeah.
be like, "I'm Jason Bourne," and then, you know,
and then
Jason
Fade to
Bourne
Black-
started.
Fade to Black.
Yeah.
And
Matt
then
Damon
back-
started a new program.
backflip out of
It's
there.
called Elysium.
Elysium.
Oh yeah. What
Okay,
happened with that
but-
movie?
I liked it. So
did?
I liked it. But okay, but Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne, would he ever put himself based off what you've seen in the 4 movies? He's a guy who's always thinking 22 steps ahead. He always knows what's about to come. Have you ever noticed
I
that?
feel like John Wick
he
is the same
picks
way.
up-
John Wick's
No,
the same thing.
John Wick goes guns blazing, gets shot up the shit. He's
No,
fucking
no.
John McClane
No.
without the.
What are you talking about?
Come
We
on.
just went through this
But
conversation.
it's
I
different.
know, and I
Are you
never
getting old?
agreed with you.
Jason Bourne has the time to like be 22 steps ahead. Like he's like Jason Bourne is like doesn't do anything until he's like made like 10 contingency plans.
That's what
and,
I'm
like, laid
saying.
it all out.
So
But John
would he ever
Wick-
put himself in a
John
position where
Wick is,
John
like,
Wick would
never,
take him out?
But John Wick never
While
has.
he's planning,
John Wick is
Wick
going up against like people that are his equals.
But no, my point in bringing this
Almost
up is what
constantly.
you just said, which is you said that you think that John Wick would win in gunplay,
Yes.
and Jason Bourne would win in hand-to-hand combat. My
No.
point being, would Jason Bourne, being that thinking ahead and that contingency plans and all that, would he ever put himself in an open situation to get
No,
shot?
he wouldn't.
by
Doesn't matter. It
John
doesn't
Wick?
But
matter.
John Wick,
John
John Wick's
Wick will
better
find
because he
him.
can go
Yes.
into any situation and like handle himself. Like he
No, 'cause
knows
Jason Bourne.
he can think so fast that he can like solve a problem
Correct.
while
Yeah.
even while
That's
it's
very
coming
true. That's
at
very
him
true.
versus
Oh,
like having
here's
to
the win.
come
Here's
up
the
with
win.
plan.
Here's the win.
He
Jason
doesn't have to
How's it-
strategize.
Here's the win. No, I'll tell you what the win is.
He doesn't have to
Jason
strategize.
Bourne did all of this without his fucking memory. It's all muscle memory. At the end, he gets his memory back. So how badass is he going to be now? Now, I don't want to talk about this fucking Jason Bourne movie, which I did like. So don't even bring that up because that's...
What?
Nah, let's keep going.
Jason
So what I'm
Bourne
trying
movie?
to say is the fourth one. He did have his memory
Bourne
during that
Legacy.
one. Yeah, the point being, Jason Bourne, he did all those three movies without his memory, a severe disability. Like that's a real situation. It's basically he might as well been in a wheelchair all those fucking movies and still been, better than John Wick.
No.
Yeah, John Wick doesn't have any disabilities.
I still stand firm that John Wick will kill him in a gunfight. I think Jason Bourne will win in a hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, but the point is, Jason Bourne would never get himself
Okay,
in a situation
that's like saying
to
John
be
Wick will
shot by
never
John
come
Wick.
close to have a hand-to-hand fight against Jason
He
Bourne.
would do that because he wouldn't be thinking this guy could beat the shit out of me. He's cocky as a motherfucker.
Yeah, but he's also logical
He's
and
cocky.
he'll move away.
But
And he'll
you
get a
just
gun
said-
and
but you
he'll
just
shoot
said-
him.
no, 'cause
And he'll-
Jason Bourne won't do
he's
that.
an assassin.
No.
So laws doesn't matter. So he'll grab a gun and then he'll shoot him.
You're
hand-to-hand
going in
combat, I was
circles
gonna-
here. You're going in
No.
circles here.
Man, I
Hand-to-hand
need to
combat.
watch
I was going to
Jason
lose,
Bourne
so I
again.
grabbed the gun
I like
and
that
I shot
movie.
him.
It got a lot of shit. I like that movie a lot, actually.
I need to rewatch it.
Yeah.
It's been I like don't remember anything.
I
from
liked
this
it. Jason
movie.
Bourne, the fourth Bourne movie.
The
that
last
came out.
one?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. A lot of people didn't like it. I liked it.
Yeah, I wasn't one of the
Yeah,
person
Paul
that
Greengrass
liked
did it. Same
but-
director as Supremacy and Ultimatum.
Yeah.
But,
The third one was literally my favorite one.
that's the thing about it. They only got better. John Wick is doing that too. But I mean, based off the third
I mean,
one, it
yeah,
looks like
we're also talking about it like there's 5 films in the Bourne universe, and
Yes.
there's only 2 current.
But really just 4. We're talking about Jason Bourne, so there's only 4 movies, and I get it. I'm just saying there's only 4 movies.
I mean, but still, there's like
Also, John Wick's totally ripping off fucking Bourne Supremacy to Ultimatum, where it starts like immediately after. I think it starts immediately after he.
Oh my gosh, Jason Bourne is just ripping off a dirty version of James Bond.
A dirty version of
Yes,
James Bond, he
more-
says.
Yes.
oh wait, what? There was
home,
James
you're
Bond with
drunk.
Sean Connery where it's like God damn it, the one with George Lazenby. When that ends,
On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
yeah, the sequel to the next James Bond film, they switched it to Sean Connery and changed the bad guy who survived.
Yeah.
Like so they changed it, like all the characters, but it was supposed to take place immediately after the events of On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Right. Supposed to,
I
but it's different.
forget what it was called. It was like Diamonds Are Forever or something. Was that what?
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, I
that's
think
Connery
that's
one.
what-
Yeah, Diamonds Are Forever. Anyways, the point being, you fucking guys, is that
So
your
Yeah.
major argument.
Jason Bourne.
Okay,
Jason
shut up.
Bourne's trying to be
Actually, if you
independent
were
mission impossible.
If you were really smart, you would have just said Total Recall
but
because we've
come
only
on.
mentioned it a million times. It's completely ripped off Total Recall. But
No,
I don't
that
know.
has to do with sci-fi.
It did rip off.
Although the book
It
very
is science.
sci-fi.
I mean,
The book was
it's
written in, like,
science
the
fiction
70s.
as far as like what we know.
80s.
But it's not out there like Total Recall. It's
But also,
I mean, it's like
the Bourne
Mission
books were written in like the
Impossible type
70s.
of
The Bourne books were written in the
copycats.
70s, and that's what it's based off.
Yeah, but like the Bourne films are basically science fiction as far as we know. I mean,
What?
there haven't been any Freedom of Information Act things that talk about CIA Treadstone type programs, right? So
Oh,
it's
okay.
science
yeah.
fiction.
This the Mr. They faked the moon landing and Stanley Kubrick shot it. You're gonna now be
Stanley
like, there's no
Kubrick did
such thing.
shoot the moon landing. Everybody knows this.
It's
Diego,
very-
back me up.
Yo, that's somebody. I'm just gonna like get you to start
Diego, get
talking.
my back, bro.
You're gonna just go fucking down. Nobody's gonna believe you after this. Just start
I'm
telling
telling
you.
you,
Talk.
it's gonna like, but before we're dead, it's gonna come out. The government's gonna be like, yeah, Stanley Kubrick shot it.
It's definitely gonna be after you're dead.
When the world becomes God, what was that movie from the director of Office Space? He did that
Mike
movie
Judge.
about like the
Idiocracy?
future. Idiocracy. When the world becomes Idiocracy, that's when they'll tell everybody that Stanley Kubrick did it.
True. Anyways, back to this basic. So your real basic argument is that he wins in gunplay because he's better with guns. That's it.
I mean,
I love his wordplay.
John Wick is amazing.
He tries to
Again,
squish what you say.
that is what you said. No, who? Okay, who would win? Who would win
in the corner?
Who would win? Bugs Bunny, okay, or John McClane? You see how absurd that is? You know why it's absurd?
He tries to
Is
look
this
at
how
You know
you're
why it's
comparing
absurd?
Nick, I
Jason
swear to fucking
Bourne
God,
and John
Nick,
Wick?
You know why
I
it's
swear to
absurd?
fucking God, you should have grown up to be a fucking lawyer, bro.
I feel like honestly, like from the two,
It's a
from the
cartoon.
films-
It's
He's got these.
outlandish.
Let me throw them off spec. Bugs Bunny, or
You're saying that
McClane.
John Wick is Bugs Bunny?
Yes,
All
John
right,
Wick
first
is
of all,
Bugs Bunny.
Yeah,
That's
see,
not.
look,
That's
see.
too extreme.
Short of the ears, he's Bugs
See,
Bunny.
this is why Nick is wrong. This is why exactly why Nick
I
is
mean,
wrong.
you
'cause
could
he's,
even-
he's separating them so much, and it's a tough choice.
They're very separate.
It's a tough choice.
Divide and conquer.
It's not that John Wick is like, oh, this
Yeah, they're not that
fucking
extreme.
guy with
dude.
ice cream.
They
and,
are.
Especially the first movie is like,
Yeah.
you know, it's pretty grounded.
It's-
the first movie. The
Yes.
second one, it got a little more like this
Neil,
is
Neil, the
it's
first
awesome.
first
but
movie's
it's kind
grounded.
of like,
But the
First
second
movie's
one,
grounded.
yeah, the first movie feels
movies-
grounded.
yeah.
What do you mean?
Why is it not grounded, Nick?
The first movie.
Like it reminds me
killed
of,
30 people
like
at
the
a
accountant. Like maybe John Wick has got a little
Autism?
little,
A little
yeah, he's a
autism?
little on the spectrum. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Maybe I don't know. You saw the accountant, right? Dude killed like how many people did he kill?
I know.
Maybe
Again,
it's John
a
Wick.
cartoon.
You think the accountant was cartoonish?
I'm saying that kind of stuff is totally cartoonish.
It
They do
wasn't,
that
no.
for popcorn value. Like that's all it
Nah.
is.
John Wick
Yes.
was not cartoonish in it. Look, the first
It's
John Wick was
cartoonish
very
and it's
no.
unbelievability.
The-
you believe you watch that and go. This
the
totally
very
fucking
first-
happened and it is happening.
the
Like this is a
very
real
first-
person.
But it's
John
like you
Wick,
accept
they-
it.
he
Like
will-
you,
they-
you know,
no,
when
they-
you first
well,
see
you
it, you're
accept
like,
it
wow,
because
like
he's-
that the choreography is
First
a
of all,
little,
Because
the
he's written that
choreography
way.
that he did, it's actually it's a short form military style of fighting. It's there. It's real. So what he
It's
did,
not like
he learned-
reactionary.
It's
You
real.
told me-
Trust me. It's a true form. So what he did in the first, especially in the
Legit.
whole house scene when he's
Diego
doing all
says
those
it must be
moves-
true.
No, it is. You can look it up, and I do have proof. Also,
My point
I
being,
do have proof because I asked somebody that knows that.
Okay,
So
it's proof. He asked somebody who knows
Yes.
that, dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Like I feel like it's
Hey,
it's a
Neil,
style.
does the government lie to us?
But
no.
it's a-
All right. Well, he
Never.
said it.
No,
and
it
he
was a
They
knows
would
family
that.
never.
member.
They would never.
I asked
it was a
them. and he
family
knew
member.
that.
No, it was a
Everything
family
they
member.
say is true.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That doesn't make it makes it worse because you're biased. You're gonna believe that.
I'm
no matter-
biased.
All right. Okay.
look,
we're getting
he's
off
just
track.
trying to- look,
But-
see, it's fucking lawyer.
We're
as
getting
shit.
off-
He does whatever he's got to do to win the argument.
He's gotta win.
That's what it is.
He's
He
gotta
gets
win.
low and
He's
dirty.
gotta
This guy don't
take
give a
the
fuck.
knife here and go.
Low
I'm
down
going
dirty
up.
shame.
Yeah.
Listen.
But
listen, mijo. Listen.
don't go Spanish. As a
Mira,
white
mira.
man.
Look. What I'm trying to say here, okay,
What are you
is
trying
that
to say, Nick?
John Wick only performs in a way that can only be written and filmed that way. There's no scenario where somebody's doing what he's doing in the real world.
I see people jumping from window to window all the time. Oh, Jason Bourne. That's
We
normal.
watched that. They did that in
fucking
real life
normal.
to be able to fucking shoot that scene. Like that's
fucking
that
normal.
he is not
Yeah,
that crazy of a
that's
window
right. I
jump.
remember
but
watching
I
the
think
making.
the only CG
that he
is
was
There's
not
an
roped.
angle. There's
He
not
was fucking roped.
what I'm trying to say is that is not an unreal jump that he does. Those buildings are really
He was
close
roped.
together, and that window is
Was he
higher than
roped
the
or
other
not?
window. Yes, of course.
So
it's a safety
it's-
issue.
So all right.
What I'm
then.
trying to say, he had to
it
actually
was
jump.
Oh,
unrealistic.
they actually
because he was roped.
CG'd Matt Damon's face on a stuntman.
Okay, listen.
I don't know.
So if he was roped, it was an
Listen.
unrealistic jump.
Listen.
No, don't shape it. If he was roped, it's
Mira,
unrealistic
mira.
jump.
Mira.
He doesn't want to answer the question.
Cojones.
It would be realistic if there wasn't a rope, but there was a rope. So
well,
it's
but
an
we
unrealistic
know
jump.
as like in the real world, yeah, because
Yeah,
it's a
in the
stunt.
real world, people
But
have
like,
tried that.
it's a
and
safety
No,
fucking
what he's
fell
saying is
fucking
true though.
fluffing.
But like what the buildings were pretty close together.
And the window was
If
higher
the
than the other window.
If one window was open and the other one was open, and either of us did that jump, and we wanted to break some bones, like yeah,
Okay,
we-
so I
we
want
could do
everybody
it.
right now.
You can
to
make
look
that
at
jump,
YouTube
Diego.
videos
All right.
to see how many
It's
people
parkour.
jump from
It's
one
parkour.
building.
Parkour.
It's
Yes.
parkour.
It's
They do
parkour.
crazier.
Michael
they do
Scott,
crazier things
parkour.
than
Parkour.
YouTube
Without
parkour
rope.
stuff. Yes, but what I'm trying
But
to say
that
is
jump was
my point-
unrealistic.
You're
because it had a
losing your
rope.
point. Your
No,
point
I'm
was
not.
it's unrealistic. And
It's
not
unrealistic.
unrealistic. No, it's not. That shit is done in
That
parkour
jump was
videos all the time.
unrealistic.
Somebody pull it up on YouTube before I slap him
I
in the
mean,
ball sack. Bring it up on
it-
YouTube real quick. Bring
it's
it up on YouTube while we're
unrealistic in
sitting
the
here
sense
looking at
that-
that scene of him jumping through the window.
I will 100%
It's a
do that.
parkour
It's-
scene. It's
but
not
I will
unrealistic.
you have to
100%
admit it's Hollywood.
Yeah, totally.
It's some
That's
Hollywood
the fucking
shit.
movie.
And
Matt
that's what
Damon
John Wick is.
Matt
That
Damon's
can't-
not a government assassin
We can't
either.
use that argument that like it's unreal. This is more realistic than
No, my
you know.
point being,
No, it's all Hollywood.
My point being is you only like I watch that and I go, Jason Bourne's going to win because this is real. Like we're putting
when
fictional
was the last
characters
time you were
against
like
each other.
watching the news and it was like man being chased by police jumps through one window in building and into another next building
Exactly.
and,
That's
like,
what I'm
it's
fucking
never
saying.
happened in the history of mankind.
Exactly.
Like I'm just saying.
Into
you
an
legit-
ultimate fight.
It's
An
not been
ultimate
on
fight.
the news.
Now
'Cause
you're
it
just
was-
being crazy. Like the fact that
But it
you're like
always
nobody's
happens
ever
in movies.
It happened in
always
Shaft, too.
it
They did it in
happens on
Shaft.
like fucking Law and Order. It happens in every other episode. Somebody jumps out a window and flies through another window.
He jumped
and
through
this
an
is, like,
open window,
normal.
by the way. Open window into a
It wasn't
which is
open, he
more
broke through the
realistic.
glass.
No, he broke through the glass. No, he jumped out of an open window into a glass window. Right? Look it up. Isn't that right? The first one was open. The second one he broke through, but you could do that because you get the momentum at that point. The whole point. It's always
No, I'm not saying it's
unrealistic
unrealistic.
when they jump through.
I'm saying his
begin
thought
with.
process
his
and like, does this
background-
make sense? Should I do this? Was unrealistic. It's basically like Aquaman.
It's instinct. What are you
Remember in
talking about?
Aquaman when he jumps or he gets thrown through the
It's
building?
instinct, man. He has to do it. Fucking, she's about to be killed. He's trying to fucking track the guy down. The guy's got Julia
yeah, but then
Stiles.
that's saying. But the argument is that that's more realistic than John Wick.
No
when
fucking
John Wick
way.
goes into these scenarios and it's all choreographed.
That first jump is impossible.
Okay, you're just
it's
being.
not impossible.
No, I'm not at that jump.
You're
yet.
watching it
There's
right now?
I'm watching it right now. That first jump was impossible, and you could see that was roped. Not the jump into the window, because you can see it's a fucking street distance. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, but is there an angle to it? Is it like he's
There's
higher than the other?
It's a
That's
50-50 angle.
As we got down to the point, this is how bad this,
This is going down.
gotten, like,
Everybody, I'm just
who's
watching
more,
this scene to
who's
try to
less
see.
cartoony?
There's a lot of jumps
that's-
going on right now. The second jump looked realistic because it was closer. It was like two buildings really next to each other, about 3 feet apart. The first jump was literally a street in the center.
I will say, in the Jason Bourne films, like it seems like more time happens in between like the combat sequence or the action sequences
There's a
in
jump.
that film, whereas in John Wick, both films seem like they take place in a short period
Yeah,
of time.
true.
Because time is like an important aspect of the film. It's like something has to happen like right now, running out of time. Whereas
Right.
in Jason Bourne, he has time to take on 5 or 6 guys, get all bruised and beat up and fucked up, and then he has time to heal.
Yeah.
So like,
All right, so, okay,
that's
so-
an interesting.
Well, not necessarily. Second and third one, he walks out limping and he's right back into the shit in the action. The second and third movies.
But then he
have
gets
been more-
on like a train or something, right? Doesn't he or gets on?
Yeah,
he,
but
gets on an airplane.
It's
or
not
something,
weeks or
goes-
months. It's literally days. We're talking about in the second and third movie. That's the thing about
But he
those
also
ones. The
he's
first
been
one,
injected and genetically modified,
shut
so
the
he heals
fuck-
faster, like Jeremy Renner.
He's not genetic. Okay, what was that, Diego? What were you gonna say?
I feel like that
So
movie,
the
The Bourne Legacy, explains why Jason Bourne is the way he is because of the injections. They just don't admit it in the first 3 movies.
You know.
He's a cyberborn.
Yeah.
Cyberborn.
He's a cyberborn.
Do they deal with any of this genetic
You are
modification?
sounding like a crazy person now.
Do they deal with any of the genetic modification in the books?
No,
Or is that
no,
something
no.
they just made up?
The books
for
are
the
very
films?
loosely connected to the movies. By the second book, he's in his 50s. He's married and has kids, and he has all his memory back. By the second Bourne, but Bourne Supremacy, the book is
Because they
completely
kill his
different.
wife in the second movie.
So okay,
Yeah,
cool,
she's
cool,
not
cool.
even the same character
So just
in the book. She's
this
like
is
a
the shot
teacher.
we're talking about, correct?
Yeah, press
Okay.
play.
So they
a
use
great
2
shot,
different
too.
angles, and you
Great.
can see that the first
Better
angle.
than anything in the John Wick movies.
I don't know why.
You're just saying that. You love the fucking John Wick movies.
Sure
You're just
do.
shitting on
I
him.
do- I do
So
love
you
those
saw
movies.
how he jumped from
Trying
there.
to trigger Tiago.
Ready? No, he's
Yeah,
trying to
press
trigger
play,
me, but
press
it's
play.
fucking.
Press play.
Hold on a second. I'm trying to.
Press that button. That's the
fucking
play
look.
button. That's the
So if
universal
you
play
look
button.
at it, the scene right before,
Boom.
it's different. He's jumping
jumped
at
off a
straight-
balcony.
He's jumping. Jumped off the balcony. Yeah, he jumped from a straight angle to the next shot. He's coming downwards.
Press play on again. I want to see it again because I feel like you don't
Back
even know.
and to the left.
Back.
No.
Into the
Back
left.
No,
and to the
back.
left.
you. When it comes
and
to
to the
visual,
left.
you can't touch
That
me.
is truly a magic bullet. That is a magic
Yeah,
Bourne.
Check this
No,
out.
I see what you're saying. Like
Watch
on
the two
on the
angles.
first
no,
scene-
at
Watch
an
it
angle.
too.
At an angle. That
Exactly.
shower. No,
Did you see-
it's not done. It's not done. He hasn't jumped. I want to see him jump. No, you.
Then why
you
are we
stopped
saying
it.
at an
No,
angle?
because it
No.
shows him looking at it and it's down.
He jumps
Exactly.
this way, and then the next scene
He has
he's,
to
like,
get up
falling.
on the rail.
Thank you.
No,
Thank
no,
you,
no, no.
Neil.
Show
He
me,
goes.
show me.
He goes forward.
He goes
and
forward,
then,
then
down.
he goes down, and it's at level.
See?
Boom.
Yeah, that was
No,
a,
that
it's
makes
a
no
weird
sense.
shot.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yo, that's life, man. That's life right
That's
there.
life. Yeah.
No,
Two different
no,
takes in two
no.
different locations,
Yo,
my
Neil,
friend.
Neil, you're crazy.
That's
No.
life. I plan to jump to the 3rd floor, but I fall on the
We
2nd
broke
floor.
Nick. We broke Nick. He's
That's
never-
life.
No,
that's
no,
life.
no,
It's
here's
life.
how it
We
works.
broke him
You
down.
plan to jump on the 3rd floor, but you land on the 2nd.
No,
There
that
you
is
go.
not
Yeah.
It's
true.
just life.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay,
is what it is.
No, this
Look,
is exactly what he
Cartoons,
does.
This is what I'm
man.
gonna say.
This is Bugs Bunny right here.
This is what I'm gonna say.
You finish your point, and I'm going to say exactly
This is
what I
what I'm
want
gonna
to say
say.
about what you just did.
This shot right
Dirty.
here.
Dirty.
I take back the fact that the first shot where it was angled 50-50.
It wasn't. It wasn't. The window's down. You could
Oh
see
my
it.
gosh, Nick.
In the POV shot practice.
This is
it's
why
like
you're a writer.
Go ahead.
Look, the first shot is. Can you confirm with me, Neil, or can you confirm the shots? You will watch it and you make the decision. The shot before it shows him breaking
When
the
it
window.
when it shows him
Hold
just
on.
watching it from when
That's
he
all
stops and he watches it. Is that what you're talking about?
No. I just need him to confirm the shot before he goes through the window. Is it 50-50? 50-50 means it's straight, like it's a side view. This is one window. This is one window. 50-50. They're aligned.
Yeah, they look very close.
So-
Good.
so
Watch.
you
it,
just
watch.
watch
It. Watch.
and
It.
you
You got
make-
glasses. Fucking watch this shit.
I think you gotta go
I
back.
gotta go back.
Jesus Christ. There you go. No, back it up. I gotta back it up a little bit. Do it again.
And that window straight
backing it
up
up-
disintegrate. I think that window was CG. I don't think there was a window there at all.
Let me ask you.
You
Did
got
the shot before?
You got to rewind it a little.
Why?
You played it like almost in the middle of it. Like you have to back it up a
No,
little bit
I
for him to
didn't.
see.
I had
We
it
need
on.
him to confirm when he's jumping. He's talking about when you're looking at that profile shot. Are the windows level? And he's like basically going. It's like this, and then it's like this. That's what he's saying, which is not true.
I'm saying the first shot
Okay.
is 50-50, angle to angle.
Okay,
The
all right.
second shot, he's going down.
Yes.
Okay,
Into a window.
can you
Okay.
pause it? Like on that shot?
But
when,
just
when
what
it's
play?
the profile?
Dude, you got tap. God, you were literally
No, I-
technically.
okay, I
Nick,
think-
let me
I
tell you
think they're
something. When
lined
things
up.
are faced away, I can barely see, so I can't really find the pause
Diego,
button.
I think what's happening here is you have two windows that are like close to each other, or like almost level, and then you have that handrail or
Yeah,
whatever,
it's a
and he
rail.
steps up on the handrail and then jumps high, and that's why it looks like when he's coming down, he's coming
Nope.
on to a lower floor, but he's actually
Nope.
coming into the window across the way.
That's a 50-50 shot. You see, they're angled the same.
You can't even
That's a
tell. You can't even
50-50
see
shot.
the window on the left.
I can see this. I can
You
see the
can't
railing.
tell.
I can see both railings. I can see the window.
This
I
is
can
the most
tell.
ridiculous thing
This
ever.
is
You
what
can-
I fucking.
This is what you
This
do.
is what I
This
know.
is what you do. Quit then. Somebody
you.
fire you. Fire this man.
Neil,
He's
right here.
incompetent.
What's the argument again? I forget what we're arguing about.
You see this right here?
I've
You
already
see this right here?
forgot.
You see this right here, Neil?
Yeah.
That's the railing. That's the railing he jumped off. That's the fucking window right there.
Yeah.
You see it? Okay. So he's straight 50-50 shot right here. This is a 50-50 shot right here.
Yeah.
Right? The next
No,
shot.
you can't tell, dude. You can't even
you can tell.
Look
you
at
can't
him.
fucking tell.
He doesn't look
you
like he's,
can't fucking
he's,
tell.
he's above.
He
the
doesn't
window.
look like he's
cannot
going
tell.
up. He doesn't look
you
like
can
he's
tell.
going
You
up.
can't even see what's going on the left
You-
side.
he
You can't
doesn't
Dude,
even
I
look
see people jump from one building
Exactly.
to another all the time.
Yeah.
So
He
I'm an
doesn't look like
expert.
he's going up. He doesn't look like he's going
What does this
down.
have to do
He
with
looks
the-
like he's coming off a curve.
Yeah.
Okay? Next shot.
But what?
Straight going down into the second floor.
Yeah.
He was higher.
Neil,
Yeah.
you can see in Neil's face. He's
Fucking
like,
fake.
It's a stretch, Diego. You can
It's
literally
not a
see it
stretch.
in
I mean,
Neil's face.
I'm
He's like,
telling
I
you
want
what
to be
the
on your side.
cinematography did.
But wait.
tell.
So
I
what?
can't tell. How the fuck you gonna say?
Did you
I
back
want-
it up to where he looks through the
Tony,
window?
Tony, you are always on Nick's side. Tony, I am gonna text you.
Tony's not here.
I know. I'm
Tony's not
sending
here.
him a message.
You sound like an
I'm
insane
saying
person right now.
No, because you're a fucking like idiot right now when it comes to
Fever.
shot.
What is the point of the?
Fucking homeless lady.
I've already forgotten why we're having this argument.
Unrealistic. The whole back to the
Oh.
argument.
I don't even know
Unrealistic.
But that that's more of like a
This is
technical like
cinematography.
but that I see what you're saying, but that's
Exactly.
more of like
Yeah.
Neil's got my back.
that's more of like bad editing. You know what I'm saying? Than like unrealistic.
Oh, yeah.
The jump
It's-
itself, like
And
could
that's
be
what I
considered
said. The
unrealistic.
jump
I
looks
thought
like-
that's what we're
Yeah,
talking
you
about.
bet on the wrong horse,
No, I
Diego.
didn't bet on the wrong
You bet
horse.
on the wrong
I didn't
horse.
bet on the wrong horse.
But you brought up the jump.
Yeah, it's a great jump.
No, you brought it up as like a reason why it's
Yeah,
like
it's
realistic
fucking.
or
It
no,
is realistic.
It's not.
But what in John Wick is unrealistic?
It's
because I feel like we're
fucking
spending a
same
lot
thing.
of time
Neil,
talking
you know what
about
I'm saying?
Jason Bourne.
This is my
Okay, let's
whole
talk about
point.
John Wick for a second.
Yeah.
Everything.
What do you mean?
Okay. How does he? First off, how does he do all
You don't
that he
think
does?
there's a massive empire of assassins that all deal in gold and like have special rules, and they have like these women from the 1950s that are answering like analogs? telephones and.
Thank you. Yes.
That's not.
That's definitely not realistic. Thank you.
I
Also,
it's-
why? How do they get the drop on him in the beginning? Like there's like 3 fucking 4 or 5 doofuses that break into his house, kill his dog.
He's
and they
fucking
get the drop on
retired.
him.
He's not doing that anymore.
So
that's the whole point.
And then all of a sudden he like
He's still in grief over his wife passing.
he's still in grief after that too. Like, come on, guys, come on.
My problem with you in this argument is that you're
It's
trying to
weak- it's weak
separate them
sauce.
so much.
It's
so
weak sauce.
fucking ridiculous.
It's
It's like
weak
it makes it
sauce.
ridiculous. It's like I don't
Dude,
even want to
Jason
argue this
Bourne
with you.
gets shot and falls into the fucking ocean and gets found by a boat in the ocean.
Yes.
It's like him being in space and somebody
No.
just happening like
We should
the
stop
Apollo
right
astronaut
here.
just
Happened
being
in
like,
real
oh,
life.
it's
We should
Jason
stop
Bourne.
right
Let's save
here.
him.
It's happened in
We
real life.
should
That has
stop the boat
happened.
right here.
That is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
never happened.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever been picked up by a fisherman as they're
Floating
in
in
the
the
water.
ocean.
Yeah, let's count the body
This
that
is-
has, and let's count the bodies that
it's
has.
pretty. It's pretty like unlikely.
really?
A fishing boat randomly
Exactly.
finds this guy floating in the ocean.
You know what?
That's not unrealistic.
Everything
to
he's
you?
bringing
No, it's
up,
not unrealistic.
he's
Are
trying
you
to
serious?
separate them
No,
so
he's
bad.
full of shit.
And this is
He's
why
so
that's
full
what
of
I'm
shit.
saying. He's just
I'm
trying
not-
to.
Jason Bourne should be dead from the beginning. From the moment that movie starts, he's dead. and
John
there's no
Wick
movie.
is sloppy. Jason Bourne is more precise.
Fuck
He's a
you.
scalpel. He's a scalpel.
Okay.
And John
don't
Wick
think
is a
that's a good
This
hammer.
guy's
argument.
watching
I
too
John
much
Wick's a
G.I.
hammer. He's a
Joe.
scalpel.
This guy's watching too much G.I.
No,
Joe.
John Wick's a hammer. This is that
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe.
I think they're both very scalpely.
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 This is what I'm saying.
This
the
is
argument
what we
is not.
descended into using words like scalpely.
yeah, I thought we were like comparing like the movies and the character and the
Oh, that's easy.
background and the
That's-
setup and the
Oh,
story.
you want to do that?
like, all
The
of
Bourne
that
movies are better.
stuff.
The Bourne movies are better. If you want to do that, you're gonna win. You're gonna lose immediately.
I don't think so.
No, even
That's all that's my whole argument. This argument went through a
I
versus.
think the
where
Bourne movies
they're
have better
not-
actors in them. I'll
and
go
they're
with
better.
that.
They're better stories. Like
Yeah.
John Wick's.
All right, let's
entertaining.
compare like
Debatable.
choreography.
Here's
I
what
think
I'll tell
that
you.
Paul
John
Greengrass's
Wick-
like shaky cam, wiggly woggly fight sequences are like far inferior to the incredibly like well shot choreographed stuff that Keanu Reeves does in John Wick. I think the choreographed stuff is better, and Keanu Reeves' performance as like a stunt actor is he gives a better performance than Jason Bourne. Because have you noticed that in the Bourne films they do this like it gives it a sense
Handheld.
of more realism,
It's
but the
handheld,
handheld
shaky
shot,
cam, yeah.
it's like I don't know. There's
I think-
something
I
about
think
it's like
it-
whoa,
No,
whoa,
that's
whoa,
just-
whoa,
I
all
love
these
it.
all
That's
these
just different
fists
style.
are
See-
flying and knees are bending, and it's like hard to really articulate what's occurring. You know, some shit's occurring.
You
Somebody's
feel like
getting
you're in
fucked
the
up.
shit. Yeah.
That's just
But
two different styles.
But it's like, in John Wick, it's like you can actually see this guy execute this shit perfectly. Like
But I
he's
think that's
incredible.
just your preference.
You know, he's
on
like
it.
doing rolls and like but he's like shooting dink and like pulling guns out of guys like fucking holsters and pop, ping, pop, pop. It's like
Yeah.
the guy's like a fucking. It's just incredible. It's like
It's a dance.
it's this fucking incredible dance, and it just goes on, and especially in the second
It's an art
movie.
piece. It's
like.
it literally is.
And I
But
like
that
that's
to
just
me
style
is
is
like a little bit
different.
more entertaining than the like super shaky.
This is what I'll tell you. This is what I tell you. When I saw John Wick, I loved it. I thought it was a great movie. When I saw the Bourne movies progressively as they went on, from Supremacy to Ultimate, all those, I was blown away, and I was like, this changes the game. Like cinematically, these movies are at a level that you don't see. Like that's how I felt about the Bourne movies. Those had a deeper, more emotional impact on me than the John Wick movies. John Wick movies were like, that was a fun movie. Both of them. I thought the second one was great too. I was like, those are fun movies. The Bourne movies, I was like, there's nothing else like these movies. That's how I felt. Like when
I don't know of any
Ultimatum came
other
out, I was
John
like,
Wick
how did they do
movies.
this? How did they elevate it? Right? Like, how did they do that?
There might
How'd
actually
it get
be
better?
there is
films
there
like
is.
John Wick.
There
and-
is they came out with what's the fucking one with Charlize Theron? Blonde.
Oh,
Why?
yeah, Atomic
because the
Blonde.
fucking John Wick was so popular, they
Yeah,
came
that
out with
felt
another
very
one.
John Wick,
Because John
actually.
Wick, the
Yeah.
style of John Wick, it's all style.
But that was
Jason
almost
Bourne-
more like Jason Bourne,
The Bourne
actually,
film
like-
is stylistic. They used a lot of
It was less
handheld
unreal. It was more-
cameras,
yeah.
and they used a lot of close encounters.
It was
That was
stylistically
more-
like John Wick, but it was more,
No, it wasn't.
more Jason Bourne-y story kind of.
What are you talking about?
Atomic Blonde.
Yeah, the way they shot it was more John
was a
Wick,
mix.
but
No, I'm just
You
talking
know,
about the
it
difference
felt
between
more like,
Jason Bourne and.
Smarter kind of.
I'm
like
just talking,
it just felt more grounded, and
Yeah.
it was directed by a stunt coordinator or whatever, right? Or stuntman,
Yeah,
former
they're-
stuntman.
yeah.
from
So like he
John Wick,
understands like
Right.
yeah, from John Wick.
I think he's.
Is he from John Wick?
I think
Wow.
that's the same guy
It
who
is.
did
It's
John
the
Wick.
same
Yeah.
guy.
Oh
So-
shit, really?
Yes.
Who did Atomic Blonde?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
well, that's why.
So-
there you go.
What I'm saying is that here's
That
Jason.
answers
That makes sense.
I don't
mystery.
compare those two
Fucking repeats himself.
in style
Fuck that guy.
because
Huh?
He's getting pissed
Nick's
off at
just
me.
being the fucking dick. I don't even want to be in this argument anymore because he's just being a dick.
never stood a
Look, here's the
chance.
thing. No, because I'm holding them close ground, and you're separating them like they're two One is a fucking cartoon. The other one just happened yesterday next to 7-Eleven. Fuck that shit. That's
here's the thing.
stupid. That makes your
fine,
argument
if they're
inaccurate.
close. If they're close,
They're very-
Jason Bourne wins it
very-
just in terms of he's a better person.
I don't know. I can't make that decision.
No,
if Jason Bourne
like Karma's
wins.
gonna get John Wick before it's gonna get Jason Bourne.
Yes.
If they're close, Jason Bourne
Not
edges
today.
it out. That's what I'm gonna say.
Well,
Jason
if we're
Bourne
talking
edges
Evil
about
wins
it
a
out.
lot today
Quality
in these films.
of
Haven't we just
personness,
watched
I don't
Infinity
know.
Wars? Evil wins a lot these days in films.
John Wick's gonna
So-
die at the end of Chapter 3. In this
I mean,
third
they're
movie,
both kind of pieces of shit early on in their
Yes.
careers.
They've turned a corner. Here's
Yeah,
the thing.
they both have these moments where they
John-
turn good, or the audience wouldn't like root for them.
Jason Bourne doesn't die, and he
I
doesn't,
wouldn't root for
and
him.
nobody gets one over on Jason Bourne. Even at the end of this newest movie, right? You think that, oh my god, like they're gonna try and manipulate him and use him now. If you remember the end of that movie,
Which
and you
one?
find out Jason Bourne, the newest one, Jason Bourne, it's got
that end?
what's her face? What's her face is in it? Alicia Vikander. She's in it. And
Oh,
and she's gonna
yeah.
play him, and you think, oh my gosh, she's gonna get one over on him, and then you find out it's the same type of shit like the earlier.
Yeah, and then it ends and it Moby song plays.
Yeah,
and it's like,
that's right. Because she gets in the car and there's the recording of her having basically said the shit like she's trying to fuck him over.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Nobody gets. You always think, oh, okay, maybe they're gonna get one over on Jason Bourne, and no, he's too far ahead. He's too good. He is too good for his own good. John Wick's gonna die at the end of Chapter 3. He's pissed off too many people. Okay, his wonton killing, his disrespect for human life is gonna
Wonton?
catch. Yes, wonton. It's a great word. Great word. Wonton, look it up.
isn't that like the little things that
Yeah,
are filled
I mean,
with
I
like
kinda got
beef
hyper
or
when you
whatever,
said
or
that.
chicken?
Wontons are like dumplings. No. Wonton.
like fried
Look it
dumplings.
up. You're gonna fuck with me on this?
I will say that Jason Bourne is more grounded, and John Wick has a more comic book. I wouldn't go as far as to say like Sin City or Watchmen, but kind of like almost like just a touch of that. Because of the
He's a dirty
only
Bond.
because of the universe it's created. It's only because you have this like syndicate of assassins.
Right.
Like that's the only reason.
Wonton, W-A-N, as opposed to the W-O-N, which is the dumplings. Wonton, of a cruel or violent action, deliberate and unprovoked. Sheer wanton vandalism.
Okay.
So,
you good?
wonton killing. Like, he's literally like, Karma's gonna, the end of John Wick 3, he's gonna die. Like, he can't.
Do we know this for sure?
Well, I'm
He
just
doesn't.
saying
He's
that.
speculating.
No, he's gonna get some scientists. They're gonna bring his dog back from the first one.
It's gonna be
And then it's gonna bring his
Frankenweenie.
wife
It's gonna be
back.
John Wick in
Frankenweenie.
the third film,
then
he's
it's
looking for
Frankenweenie and
passage.
fucking.
Was Halle Berry in the second movie?
No,
he's in
she's
the next one.
She's in the third one.
Oh, she just showed up out of nowhere.
Yeah, and I don't like that.
I like
That
that.
doesn't
New
happen in the-
character too.
It's all right.
What's wrong with that?
No, I'm kidding. It's totally fine. But
Didn't Jason Bourne do that a lot?
Are they making 2 Mission Impossible movies? Did I read
Yeah.
that recently?
Yes.
Like back to
Are
back.
we really
Christopher
going-
McQuarrie struck
Does that
up-
seem like a good idea?
You know, I'm like, I think they should quit while they're ahead because that last one was
Yeah,
perfection.
I'm like,
get away.
You
but,
could literally end it with that last one.
But I think they should just, if they're going to do these two, I think they shouldn't keep doing them after that. Christopher McQuarrie is coming back, and they've done a great job so far. And I didn't think they should do another one, and then it ended up being one of the best ones. So who are we to say, right? Until we see them. But
I don't
but
know, that's like Avatar, though. That's like, I'm gonna do 5 more movies.
But they could be the most amazing movies in the world, and we're sitting here going, you shouldn't do it. And then he's like, oh yeah, let me prove you wrong, motherfucker.
But
Anyway.
they're doing them back to back. That's the thing. That
They are
seems
doing
weird
them,
to
which
me.
is cool. That means that they're going to do a full story between 2 movies, which is better than doing 2 different movies that are completely different stories.
So it could be like
At
the
this
last
point,
2.
Yeah, at this point,
hopefully.
At this point, they should do one big story spread over 2 movies because then that feels more real. Like you keep doing a separate story, then another separate story, like a year later, that doesn't feel right. All right,
The story is Ethan Hunt's pissed off. They brought his wife into it this last
they killed
movie,
his dog.
and they're gonna fucking destroy it.
his
So
wife-
he's
oh, yeah,
gonna
she's
jump
Yeah, they're
through-
going to kill Ethan Hunt's
So
dog.
He's gonna fucking jump through windows while
No,
walking
they're gonna
a
kill
dog.
Big Rames.
Yep.
They better not. Luther? No.
He literally is just there to collect a paycheck. I mean, this guy doesn't do anything.
He did a lot of stuff in the last film.
Like, are you guys serious?
Who?
Big Rames.
Big Rames scared. No.
Like he's just like the only 2. They're the only 2 that are
I like
from
he's
the
like
original.
he's like a 65-year-old hacker who still got it. I'm like, I don't think so. Not
I'm like,
not in this
come
day
on,
and age. Yeah.
come on,
No,
like-
but I love him. Come on, it's Luther.
I mean, yeah.
All right,
What is he still
we're
doing
sidetracked.
there?
We're sidetracked. Unfortunately,
Where's Jean Reno? Bring him back.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
Oh, he's dead.
All right,
That's
he was
right.
also the professional. We should have had him go up against John Wick, or he was the assassin in the professional.
Oh my God, yeah.
He was
But
great
he only
in
did
that.
the one movie though. It's
I know.
like it feels
and he dies at the
unfair.
end of it. He dies at the end of it. All right, but
Does he?
yeah, that movie's so good. Jesus Christ. All right, so my point is, Jason Bourne is more realistic. Fine. If we're gonna like take that argument out of it, hold on, let me finish. If you're gonna take that part out of it, then we're just gonna say, all right, well, you at least said hand-to-hand combat he would win against John Wick. Gunplay he would lose. My point being, if you watch all the gunplay that's been brought to his doorstep in the other movies by trained assassins, by all these things, he's always escaped a direct one-on-one, like I'm gonna be out in the open to be shot by you thing.
So has John Wick.
Okay, first off,
He's
John
done
Wick
well.
is Rambo. He's being shot at all times, and he barely catches a bullet. Like that's unrealistic. So
Oh,
you're
in the
bringing
second movie, he's fucked up.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
fucked
he-
up,
yeah,
but
he-
he's still
He
good.
is
I
fucking
just said
like
barely catches a
bleeding.
bullet.
He's like John
gets-
McClane, like blood coming out of every orifice.
totally. He
like,
gets one or two bullets from the 10,000 shot at him in the span of 3 minutes, and you're gonna
He's
try.
the boogeyman, bro.
He's not.
He's
So it's
exactly.
supernatural. So it's
Exactly.
supernatural. So then it's Bugs
Yeah,
Bunny.
isn't natural
Then it's
for
Bugs
what-
Bunny.
I have the whole
Then it's
government.
Bugs Bunny.
I have my
Yeah,
whole
we can't have a
government
discussion
chasing
with
me.
This guy, he's being unreasonable.
The whole government,
You're not giving
military,
me a fucking inch.
scanning me
do you
with
mean?
drones, sending all these
Give me your
agents
inch.
after me. They got drones after me. They got cameras on me, but they still can't fucking catch me.
Jason
That
Bourne.
says how fucked up our security system is. We need some new shit.
Jason
Yeah.
Bourne.
They
Well,
should've
but
got-
Jason Bourne is like in the system. Like he understood how everything works. So of
he's-
course he's going to be able to like thwart the system. but
Movie for movie.
John Wick's not being
Wick,
chased by the government. He's being
yeah.
chased by his own people.
Yes, John Wick.
His employer,
It's
which I
an
guess is like
incredible,
the government.
incredible. Both those movies, and I thought the second one was possibly even better than the first, and the third one looks like it's going to be incredible. They are so much fun. They are so entertaining. They're the ultimate in popcorn violence, popcorn action. Okay, Jason Bourne are just working on a smarter level. They're more. The story's more fascinating to me, and like I said, when I saw those movies, I was like game changer. John Wick, I didn't feel like game changer. I felt like that was really cool and well done, and they choreographed some amazing things. But I didn't feel like it was a game changer. I don't feel like it ushered in a whole new genre of film. I felt like the Bourne movies, especially Supremacy and Ultimatum, did that. Like they were doing shit that was like people were like, "This is how we got to do things from now on." Like those movies were on a level that I was like, "How do you do this? Like how do you perform at that level?"
Yeah.
Like for a film. That's how I felt with those movies, and they progressively got better. The John Wick movies, I'm like, these are so fucking entertaining, but I
there's
don't
only
feel like
two
they're on that
movies,
level.
Too. I feel like Bourne has the unfair
Yeah,
advantage.
no, but the
like, in
third one's coming out.
comparison.
We're doing
It doesn't
Bourne.
matter because the pacing. in
We're
the
really
films
doing
is
through
different.
Bourne Ultimatum. Like honestly, we're doing Bourne Identity to Bourne Ultimatum.
I think the biggest.
We're doing John Wick from 1 to 3, and the third one we at least have the trailer now, so they're not completely off.
But
it's not like one movie against
there's
3 or 4.
two things going on here that I think that make them a good comparison. Is that when we saw the trailer for John Wick, it was like this movie. There's no way this works. Like
Right.
this concept is like stupid. Like they killed
Yeah.
my dog. I'm gonna kill it. But then when you saw the
fun.
movie and the way it plays out, you're
It
like,
makes
oh,
sense.
this works. Same thing with Bourne. Like Matt Damon, like Kung Fu Master. Like what the fuck am I watching here? This is stupid. This is not gonna work. This is like
Right.
Matt Damon from the Jay and Silent Bob films or whatever.
Hunting season, applesauce, bitch.
Yeah, like this is like, from Goodwill Hunting Matt Damon, who's
Yeah.
now a kung fu master. Like this shouldn't work, and it worked. So both of them have like that genesis or whatever from the beginning where it's like these shouldn't work, but it works.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
Liam Neeson in an action movie,
Yeah.
Taken or whatever, which was also I suggested as
Take-
a versus, but
Yeah, well, it's just not.
nobody knows. We don't know what his name is.
On name alone, what's his name?
name's like John.
It's probably they're all John. They're always
Bourne?
John or James.
Jonathan Bourne.
Here's the thing: Taken. I would put
What is
I'd
it?
put Liam Neeson against John.
Huh?
My
But
name is the commuter.
I agree.
Yeah, the commuter.
I agree. Like if you do Taken against John Wick, those are more comparable, anyways.
Oh my gosh! I just
They
wanna
are
get
like he's
off
an
right
older
now.
guy. He's kind of getting back into the game.
But
He's got
just
a certain
wanna
set
get
of
off.
skills.
I would
and
say
he goes and
Taken
takes
2
out-
and 3 are like.
Yeah.
The first one is still
Yeah,
awesome.
I like the second one. The third one was PG-13. They just kind of watered it down, but I like the first two.
So horrible.
The thing is
The first
that
one's
that
horrible.
is probably more comparable.
It's
And
like a
again, I don't
farce.
feel like they're on Bourne's level as
It's
movies.
just a fake podcast right now.
You're fake. Your whole face
It's
is
just-
fish.
It's like we're
It's
becoming.
so
we should all
false.
talk with our
It's
NPR
so-
voices.
Yes.
This is Fresh Air with Nick Gambino, Neil Carson,
Yes.
and Diego can't fucking make a valid, solid point to save his fucking life.
He made
D'Souza.
some good points.
I
Did he
have
though?
tons more points.
Did he though? We basically just analyzed a fucking YouTube video of
We
this fucking
did,
jump
But
for
your
20
biggest
minutes.
argument is that there's the realism. That's all you're really going
That's
after.
not. I've made so many other points. I've literally
No,
made.
but
so
that's
many
the
other
big.
points.
I said that's your biggest.
I got away from
argument.
that. I said, fine, if you're not going to give me that, well, at least
No.
go with what he said,
No,
which is
realism in
hand-to-hand
the
combat.
sense-
No, but then he said the hand-to-hand combat. I said, okay, well, Jason Bourne, as we've seen, has proven that he does not put himself in a position to get taken out by gunplay. So we're saying he'd end up in a hand-to-hand combat with John Wick. He would make sure that happened.
Fucking fell
He
out
would
of a
win.
building into.
Diego literally gave
What do you
me
mean?
the win by saying that. Like he said,
How did
he
I
would
give
win.
you the win? You can't
You
confirm.
said-
I'm not giving you the win, so I
No.
take that. So you take
You
that back.
said he'd win in hand-to-hand combat. I said they would
I'm
absolutely
not giving you
engage
a
in
win.
hand-to-hand combat at some point. He wins. Literally, like, am
Yeah,
I
but
crazy?
if
You're
John
fucking
John
in a
Wick
little
is like
playground.
more likely to come at him with a gun than he is with his hand.
I know, but that's the point.
He
Is
would
Jason?
win
No,
if
but
that was
Jason
the
Bourne
case.
doesn't allow that to occur.
See, I think what
he's
you're the
confirming-
things you're
yeah,
thinking
you-
of
you're
in
trying
the
to-
Bourne films,
yeah.
like when they pull guns on Jason Bourne, most of the time he's like really close, and he just grabs the gun and takes it out of their
Snipers.
hand.
There's literally more than one sniper scene in that movie.
Yeah, but that's like
there's literally
he's
one,
like a
2,
mile
3, 4.
away.
In those
He's like-
movies, I could think of 4
He can get
sniper
in front of a
scenes
brick
off
wall.
the top of my. Yeah, but your point
That
just became
doesn't- that
invalid.
doesn't mean
Your
anything.
point just
That
became
does-
invalid.
that's not the same.
Look, that's his go-to line now.
But
too.
John Wick
Your
doesn't
point is invalid.
sniper guys. Like
Yeah.
that's not his way of attack. Like he's
But
gonna
John
come
Wick
at
d-
you and like
John Wick does have a lot of headshots in his films, a lot more than
yeah.
Jason Bourne.
Honestly, like the whole.
So it's a whole
If you
different
said
level.
fight-
if
Yeah,
you would go
headshots 'cause
against
he's an
if
if you
actor.
said
Fake,
fight, John
fuck
Wick
him.
would just do
You
like
know?
he would do a somersault. And then a bullet would like shoot through Jason Bourne's
You
skull.
sound-
He would be like
This-
somersault,
again,
bullet.
This
and
is where the
then-
Bugs Bunny argument came into. This is ridiculous. That you know what? I'm so
But that-
done. He's Kano from Mortal Kombat.
That's the comparison.
All right. How do we have,
If
do we have to
we're
keep doing
talking
this
like
podcast?
Mortal
Are we done with
Kombat
this-
here. We're
are we
talking
done with
about
this
if you
episode?
put them in a Mortal Kombat game, like Jason Bourne would be like, trying to like, come on, kung fu me, and then John Wick would be like somersault, bullet, and then it'd be game over.
I'm getting ahead of
Gunplay.
you guys.
when it comes to gunplay, my
How far are we?
I'm
on?
back
How
when
much
the-
more? We have to.
we're fine. When it
We
comes to
have be,
gunplay,
like 5 hours in on this.
John
Feel-
Wick
it feels like it.
would win. Here's the thing too, that I feel like your whole argument is just downplaying John Wick, where John Wick the films itself aren't as transcending to like styles in movie, where it has. John Wick, there was a big article that I read about John Wick, how it found the grounds to bring Chinese filmmaking style into
That's the Matrix.
America
That's the
filmmaking.
Matrix, dude. That's Matrix. Matrix
No.
did that
No,
with
not
Keanu
Matrix.
Reeves.
I
I'm
feel
talking
like-
about like the movie The Raid.
Yeah, like
The
Raid,
Raid
or
2
even
and styles
I get what
like
you're
that.
Old Boy. Like there's that
Old
scene
Boy,
in Old Boy
exactly.
where it's like one guy. Huh?
Korean. It's different.
All
He
right.
said Chinese. That's
Asian
Korean.
films.
Yeah,
Asian
that's right.
films. Let's go Asian
That's
films.
racist. That's
Doesn't matter.
racist. Yeah, that's racist.
the Korean.
Oh.
They're all brown people. The Indians and the
Asian
blacks, they're the
films.
same, right?
Into
Yeah,
America.
so you
And
guys
they,
sound like
they were able to
bunch of racists. over here.
stylistically bring that into
Racist
America.
is
So
lose,
they did
historically.
very well,
It
and
is
that's something
definitely
that a
a
lot of
style.
films hasn't done.
Yeah,
So
and-
even the color palette and how John Wick looks, you
And I
you
love
see
it.
that a lot.
I love
in
like the
Asian
neon
films.
lights
Exactly.
and the nighttime shots and
Exactly.
in the rain and that like that
Exactly.
atmosphere that it creates is great. And like Bourne films, for some reason, I always like that has this like European feel to it mainly because he's in Europe.
he's
a
in
It
lot
Europe,
of
does,
yeah.
and it broke
He's in
so
New
many
York
grounds.
later,
with,
But when he's in DC, New York, or whatever,
Yeah.
like I guess not in DC. but
there's
he's
like
in
this tone of like I don't know. There's just this like the way it's shot is less. I feel like you can't.
but it's
you're
not.
used more of your imagination is telling you what's happening than what you're seeing on screen.
But it's not.
in Bourne.
In the Bourne films,
The Bourne
because
films
of the way it's shot, like that,
did
that
bring up.
shaky handheld.
Well, no,
It
that
feels
was
like
actually
POV it
something
feels
that
like
they were
real,
known
like
for.
POV. It feels like they were.
They actually.
I had no
brought
issue with
that.
it. I feel like that brought it more. It made it more visceral. It made it so you could feel it. It felt like you were there. Like that is chaotic. It felt.
It's definitely a style that
It's-
gives it
No,
evokes
so
a sense of like urgency.
Jason Bourne,
Yes.
those films, the Bourne films brought that into light. They really brought
Yeah.
how to use stabilization into films. They really do how to use handheld
Yep.
filmmaking and make it a professional production.
Yep.
They really were known for that when they did that.
They
So
were.
that's their style. While John Wick is really figuring out how to bring the Asian culture style of filmmaking into America, and that's what it did. So they both brought something.
So John Wick
stylistic
whitewashed it. I get it.
To
It's whitewashing.
It's not whitewashing.
It's cultural appropriation.
I don't even want to.
It's
like, this
cultural
is just done.
appropriation.
It's like fucking
It's cultural appropriation.
arguing
Yeah,
with
but
like
you could
that.
say the same for Jason Bourne.
What?
Jason Bourne's
What?
actually
What?
Asian in the books.
No, he's not. David Webb is literally his real name in the books too. He's a white guy.
David Webb is
You're
Asian.
No, you're such an asshole. He would win with guns. Jason Bourne would win hand to hand. Fine.
I agree with that.
I'm good with that. I can
I think
settle
that's
with that.
a good. Yeah. So who's the better actor?
Oh, well, we know Matt Damon. Come on, let's not fuck around. Keanu
Really?
Reeves is great, but like he's not. No, Matt Damon's a great actor.
Really?
Keanu Reeves is a fun.
Is that easy to make that decision?
Who's a better
Guys,
person?
come on.
Who's a better person?
All right,
easy?
come on.
Keanu
now.
Reeves is a better person.
We don't know them as people. We can judge them by acting.
But I read
alone.
all these articles constantly
social
about
media
how
tells
Keanu
you-
Reeves is like an angel from heaven.
I know,
right.
and he
Wonderful.
probably is, but we also don't know. What I'm saying is, actors-wise, we know. Come on, Matt Damon is a better actor than Keanu Reeves. Okay, see now this is how I know you're crazy. Like you know that's true.
Okay,
I'm trying to think.
that's opinion based.
No, it's not. It's literally fact-based.
That's your opinion.
I guess I'd have to agree with that.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us at this really nothing happened podcast.
No, it's a good,
We came
of
to
the
a
nuances
possible
of,
medium, but that's also in debate. So thank you guys for joining us at Get to the Podcast. That's Get to the Podcast with the number 2. My name is Tiago D'Souza.
I'm Nick Gambino.
And I'm Neil Carson.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.